What's going on, everybody? It's the True Man Dan here with another video. This one again, for some reason I'm making a couple conspiracy videos, but I'm going to make another one on this one. My latest fix has been about the planet Nibiru, also called Planet X. A little bit of background on kind of how I found out about Planet X was, the first time I heard about it I think was when Pluto was still considered a planet, because I do believe me and the other kids that sat at the table at lunch talked about it being the possible 10th planet in our solar system, but obviously that was not to be, and later, of course, Pluto was scraped off of the planet list. Sorry about that, Pluto, that sucks. Basically, for the last, I guess, couple weeks, I've been surfing YouTube and a couple other sites, and just been following, strange happenings over the world. It's getting to the point where it's kind of impossible to ignore that weird stuff's going on right now. And I kind of came across the prophecies that people are talking about, and I started getting into all that stuff, and a lot of it actually led me to, strangely enough, the book of Daniel from the King James Bible. And that caught me by particular fancy, just because my name being Daniel, the thought occurred to me that, hey, let's read what 1 Daniel has to say. So I read through it, and in a strange way, instead of reading it as kind of most people read the Bible as a series of stories that is supposed to dignitate the past, human history as a past, I read it more as kind of a journal, strangely written to just almost as a story about the day-to-days of a guy living through, and forgive me for this, but almost a present-day sci-fi futuristic life. And when I read it that way, a few strange things came to thought, and I wrote them down, and this video is basically just a few thoughts that I had while I was going through all this. Maybe a couple of you are trying to put together some of the pieces, and hopefully maybe some of what I came up with is what you were looking for, and you can continue your search knowing that some of this came from somebody else. You're not thinking you're the only one thinking stuff like this. Yeah. Okay, so the first thing that came to mind was, if we're being topical, today being March 6th, 2014, current big stories in the news right now is Russia is trying to make their push into the Ukraine, and the whole world is getting into a heated tension because obviously nobody wants a World War III, and this is kind of cause to start talking about it. So nobody's really liking the situation, but if you kind of do search, I'm going to put a few links below to some of the sites that I went to, but search through YouTube, watch some of the videos. A bunch of them are kind of saying the same stuff. If you find the same ones, you may pick up the same stuff that I picked up, but this is what I came up with. I believe that Russia is moving into the Ukraine in preparation of a flooding event which is going to pretty much wipe out Russia in the next some odd years within my lifetime. So what I'm saying is, if you followed the videos that I followed and you got all the information that I got, you're going to come up with this situation that Russia is going to have a huge flood, as well as New York, but we'll get there. But and I think the reason that Russia is making this big push into Ukraine is because the major territories of Russia aren't going to exist very much longer, and they know it. This kind of should add to anybody's idea that governments are aware of futuristic events because of contact with extraterrestrial life form. I do believe it. I've seen enough. I'm from Las Vegas, which means I'm a desert kid. And as a desert kid, you do a lot of sky watching, and I myself have seen quite a few things that just, we didn't make it. And if we didn't, who did? And that's all I gotta say about all that kind of stuff. But, yeah, so Russia is moving into the Ukraine, And uh, there's a couple videos out in YouTube right now that are with these really strange sounds that are coming from the earth. A lot of it's coming from the Midwest and all of those kind of deals. I believe the screeching and the strange, really loud sounds that we're hearing across America, kind of the Bible Belt area, I think those are tectonic plates, and I think uh, those plates had ancient locks that kept them together, which kind of kept this giant piece of land as one thing, so that things can be built on top of it, and over time we have this great land of America that's rich in crops and soils and ores and blah 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 and stuff. Well, I think the sounds that we're hearing right now are those ancient locks are breaking. And I think it's just because we have this giant celestial body coming towards us, which has got a magnetic force. Magnets move things. Anybody who goes to a department store and picks up 3 magnets, put 2 of them next to each other, and have a third one come in, and just watch. Both of the other ones, no matter if they're in the towards each other or away from each other, they're gonna do something. And I think that's what's happening on Earth right now. Is this big event is coming. We can now see it through our big old shiny telescopes. And I think that's what's throwing off the Earth and its bodies of land, its landmass. I think all of the ancient, kind of since the old Pangea, if anybody remembers that from old school science class, I think back then everything was kind of put together as a giant kind of platform, maybe as kind of a let's build everything on the platform. And they broke off a couple locks and they just kind of let everything drift apart, and that's where we are today. And now I think we're at the next step where all of the locks are going to break, and we're just going to have this giant world of islands. But that's me personally. That's not anybody that I've watched. That's just me kind of coming up with that. So that is point number 1, Russia moving into Ukraine. Point number 2, I right now live in California. So anything involving California and what might happen here is kind of been on my really close watch list. So obviously everybody knows California is due for a big quake. It's going to happen within my lifetime. That one I'm pretty dang sure of, and I think I may know where it's going to happen. The irony of it is the title of the location, which is called the Point of Conception. Yes, the Point of Conception in California, I believe, will be the epicenter of the quake that's going to change the west coast of America. I think the quake that derives from there is going to flip a piece of land, a significant piece of land, and I believe there's probably going to be a new coastline on the west coast. So that'll suck, but I digress. Number 3, we are going to get visited at some point. Right now, I believe there is a large committee made up of many different races of extraterrestrial life. I believe they call themselves the Council of Worlds. At least that would be our translation. And I think we're going to get visited by an ambassador who is going to be representing the Council of Worlds. And I think that ambassador's trip is going to be exclusively to see if the human race is worth saving or not.